Excuse me. So I had a root beer. Now, finding games that. Okay, so full disclosure, this is inspired by the fourth snake. I know he's not gonna fucking see this video more than likely. And why would he? He's a bigger channel than me, way bigger. He's always going to be. So, knowing that, he has a fucking series where a bunch of creators on YouTube come together and talk about what fighting game stories mean to them and how they affected them and things like that. Everyone gave some really good examples, and I had my thoughts, but I never got to voice them in the comments because, well, I was a little nervous, dude, not gonna lie. Yeah, I was a little nervous. So knowing that, the first ever fighting game that I've actually played, and I have to put emphasis on fighting games, because I'm someone who doesn't believe that just because a game has fight in it counts as a fighting game. So in short, people think Smash Brothers is a fighting game. No, it is not. It just simply has characters fighting in it. Fighting game is its own fucking genre due to certain factors. One of them being tournaments, due to complex inputs, as well as simple inputs. There's simple and complex inputs depending on the game you're talking about.
Know your limits next time.
Fighting games are also notorious for having very obscure characters coming together to do things like tournaments, like I said. There's also arcade mode, versus mode, survival, etc. So in that regard, yes, Dragon Ball is a fighting anime and it can have fighting games, but they are not fighting games. Fighting games is its own genre, like I said. So, the first fighting game I've actually ever played was Tekken 1, the first one. Yeah, I understand that for most of my life I didn't get to play a lot of games. In fact, the only fighting game I technically played was called Ready to Rumble Boxing for Nintendo 64, and that's about it. There was that, there were Smash Brothers, but again, they don't really count as fighting games. They're just action and party game. That's basically what it is. You know. So, yeah. First one I actually played was Tekken 1. Didn't think much of it at the time. I thought it was a cool game. I thought Kazuya looked fucking cool. I found it kind of weird they had lightning powers. Didn't know what that was about.
I'm no pushover, sweetie.
Though granted, the main one I played at the time was not Kazuya, it was Jack. And I like the fact that he's just this giant robot dude who flexes and shit and has that weird animation where he's just beating on his chest. And still falls down despite that. I used to imitate his fucking animations all the time when I was younger. I didn't care. I had fun. So anyway, I did like learn different parts of the story. I did his ending. I was in Kazuya's ending. I'm like, oh, he has like a weird little animation thing. I wonder who else has that. The Kazuya's, he drops Heihachi off a fucking cliff, and he smiles at the camera. I'm like, that's weird. People thought it was scary or creepy or funny. I never thought it was any of those things. I just thought it was weird. Like, why is this man smiling when he threw this guy off a cliff? And I did some digging at the time because I had the booklet. And I learned that apparently Heihachi is his father. I'm like, oh, wait, what? And I wasn't even horrified at the time. It was just like, oh, so Kazuya hates his father and said father hates his son for some fucking reason. So I thought that was cool. And that's about it. The last time I played a fighting game was fucking Super Street Fighter 4 for the 3DS, because that's the only thing I had access to at the time. Well, it was a 3DS XL. So again, I had access to that. And I also had access to fucking
Know your limits next time.
Mortal Kombat 9, because again, I knew about Mortal Kombat, but I wasn't able to play it because too young, etc. I wanted to play it, but again, too young, couldn't play it. Anyways, played Mortal Kombat 9, I thought it was fucking cool. I'm like, wait a minute, this is interesting. But as cool as that game was and everything like that, it's Street Fighter that had the most emotional impact on me, you know what I mean? And here's the reason why. The first ever character I've ever picked up was Bison. I didn't know what I was doing, but I still played anyway. I thought he was really fucking cool, though I didn't understand why he was this evil villain dude. I didn't understand him at the time. Little I know that apparently there's a whole lot of lore going on about him. So much to the point that pretty much everyone in Street Fighter hates him or something. I just saw Bison, I'm like, ooh, cool evil dude. Because that time I was really edgy.
You'll never be a match for me.
I just thought villains were more interesting a lot of times. I was going through a lot of shit. When you have a life like mine, you go through a lot of crazy shit, you're just like, oh man, what do you fucking do? So I thought it was cool. Didn't know how to use him though, so. Let's see. The next one I played was Yuri, and that's when it all made sense. You see, I played Yuri, and I'm just like, who the fuck is this chick with the spider thing? She kicks real well, she's fun. And like, has this fucking femme fatale thing going on about it. Anyways, that was weird. I did her story a lot of times. Like, and I mean a lot. I did the versus mode a lot. I pretty much read all her fucking wing quotes, both character specific and like generic type. So I did that. And then I started experimenting with others. Like I learned about Ryu, learned about Ken. I'm like, holy shit, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. And when it's like I do all these endings, I'm like, there's so much passion put into these like characters. Like I don't even know who they are, and yet I would have learned so much about them and about their lives and shit. Like how exactly did Yuri lose her eye, and how did her parents die exactly? Like, you know, like I understand she wants to kill Bison because of her parents, but how they die, who are her parents, like, etc. Is it anything like Batman? Were they wealthy? Were they rich? Were they like good people? Whatever. No, they were, like, according to the comics and everything like that. And by the way, I don't care if they're non-canon. I don't really care. They give you a good basis to go off of. They were not exactly good, but they weren't bad either. They were just really strict and shit. You know? I didn't know much about Asian countries at the time. In fact, the most anime I watched at the time was fucking Dragon Ball, Inuyasha, Bleach for a little bit. Let's see, what else was there? I think that's about it. Oh, and Naruto. Damn. Anyways. Where was I going at? What was I talking about? I can't remember what I was talking about.
I can't let anyone see me like this.
I'm going to.
You'll enjoy this, trust me. Ready?
Get ready, fight!
Anyways, I remember what it was. So the thing is, you already played a big part, but the character that really stuck out to me in terms of like the emotional connection to fighting games was fucking Ryu. That may seem fucking weird, but it's just something about Ryu stands out compared to other protagonists to me. His sense of like seeking enlightenment and strength and shit like that is different from others who seek strength. Sure, that makes him boring, but it's just something about the music and how he talks and his wisdom, and how he like every fight is a way of communicating. Like he can learn anything about you just by how you fight. You can just now meet, and he learns so much about you when you throw your first punch. I found that really fucking cool. Someone who's that fucking zen and that fucking wise is interesting to me. It caught me way off guard. I wanted to see more, like, you know. Granted, I do like a quite the rabbit hole to understand more about Street Fighter characters. A little about the dolls and other shit, Chun-Li. Cammy, though granted, I didn't like Cammy when I was growing up. Both in terms of fighting her, playing as her, and as a character, I did not like her. I really did not like her.
I'm no pushover, sweetie.
And then I started to experimenting around with different characters in Street Fighter 4. Like Hakan, you know, Turkish wrestling. The fact that someone took an actual sport, like an actual martial art, like Turkish wrestling, and applied it to a fighting game is amazing to me. He's all fucking red. He has a wife. He has a bunch of kids. He has these ridiculous fucking moves. You know. It's like, okay, I get what's going on. Street Fighter is a ridiculous fucking series. And I love that. And I just started experimenting and experiencing more fighting games. In fact, one of the ones I learned about was fucking... Wait! I just remembered. No. One of the first fucking...
Never be a match for me.
fighting games I actually played was not Street Fighter, Super Street Fighter 4. That came later. That came later. I'm mistaken. That came later. Because I remember playing Tekken 5, Dark Resurrection. And then I remember playing Tekken 4. It was Tekken 1, Tekken 4, Tekken 5, Dark Resurrection. That's when I discovered Asuka. And I was just like, holy fucking shit. With pretty much everyone in this fucking game that's either a piece of shit, evil, boring, or something else, you have this chick who's fucking cool. I didn't know shit about Jun, didn't care, I liked Asuka. She was an awesome tomboy chick, and she was bold enough to fight on Devil Jin and Devil Jinpachi. The fact that she also has a fucking accent, which I learned later, and among other things, the fact that she's actually a good person, or trying to be a good person in this shitty world, stood out to me. And then Street Fighter made that more interesting. It's like, I learned more about fighting games. I'm just like, okay. So fighting games is one of those whole fucking things where it's like, you think it's gonna be one thing, but it turns out to be something else. It's a bunch of absurd shit that you just accept as normal. So, knowing that, I started learning more and more. I played Virtua Fighter at some point. I think it was around the time I was playing, fuck, I'm wrong again. Because I played Virtua Fighter as well. It was the special, like, edition one for Virtua Fighter. Virtua Fighter 4 is the one I played. Around the time I was playing Tekken 5, Dark Resurrection. Then later I was playing Street Fighter 4. Then sometime later I played King of Fighters. And I fought Liu Gao. I don't remember which one, but it had a specific look. Liu Gao had a specific look, and I remember a giant ship crashing because I eventually beat him with someone using fire abilities. It was probably Kyo Kusanagi because I got really fucking lucky fighting that dude. It was on a computer. I had a computer at the time, it was a laptop. A friend of mine at the time gave me the beans to play the game. I tried countless times trying to beat Liu Gao and getting better, and I got Liu Gao eventually. And I ended up beating him, and I got an ending. I'm just like, holy shit, I finally did it. It was some kind of fire move. I don't remember what. It was probably that one where he just swayed his hand aside. It's a giant cloud of fire. Anyways, I just started playing more and more fighting games. Virtua Fighter, I didn't know had a lot of lore, but I liked the characters. Lei Fei being one. Sarah Bryant. Then I learned more about Sarah Bryant. Her fucked up life with fucking the J6. How J6 is doing this and doing it. I'm just like, holy shit. Fighting game lore is sick. And I only learned about Mortal Kombat lore and like later on in life because I played Mortal Kombat Armageddon? No, fuck, I was incorrect. Again, my memory is shit. I'm sorry. Okay, so the first Mortal Kombat game I've actually played was MK vs. DC, then Armageddon, then MK9, then MK Deception. No, wrong again. It was MK Deadly Alliance, then MK Deception, then went back to Armageddon, then went back to MK vs. DC, then went back to MK9. Somehow. My life is fucking weird. Never played MKX. I played MK11 probably last year. Never touched the next MK. The only time I touched MK was MK11. That's a most recent thing. And I finished Armageddon. I finished Deception. How much time I got on this thing? Yeah, I can do one more fight. One more course. And let's see. Yes, got it. Trying to remember what else.
Prepare.
Face your fate.
Get ready.
Yeah, it's just there's so many different things that fighting game characters do that just stand out to me compared to different mediums that just stand out from that. For instance, if you asked me what do I think about the comparisons between Ryu and Goku, I'm like, I see the similarities, but I'm more emotionally invested in the Ryu. Like, if I'm being honest with you, I know fucking the fucking Kamehameha is iconic. It is iconic. But if I'm being honest with you, I feel like the Hadouken has a more of an emotional resonance to it.
Good fortune, no ring.
That's me personally. Like when Ryu did the Hadouken against Seth when he's talking about true strength and he acts as a power of nothingness to showcase that he doesn't need the murderous intent, you know, the Satsu no Hado, to showcase how strong he is, just to prove Seth wrong. I felt so much fucking emotion in that. Like the music, the voice acting, I couldn't get enough. It's just like he leashed it. Like, yeah, the animation for the movie is not great, the story's not too good, but at the same time, do I care? No, not really. I do not care. I do not care. I felt something there. Like seeing Ryu getting brutally pummeled, especially when like Sakura was freaking out. And I actually like Sakura. You would think someone like her would annoy me, but no. She does not annoy me in the slightest. In fact, I was freaking out just as she was.
You're gonna be in for some pain.
Like, damn.
Time to play games with you.
I love Chun-Li, and then just seeing her watch this shit was just like brutal too. You know, I just couldn't help but love it. I wanted Ryu to win, and I saw him win. I'm like, damn. And then you have all the other times where I'm like going back to Super Street Fighter 4, and eventually playing Ultra Street Fighter 4, and learn about his extra characters, like Poison and shit like that. I'm like, holy shit. And oh my god, the amount of times I played Ryu's story in the arcade mode and shit. Especially when he goes up to Akuma. It's like, you didn't transcend your humanity. You threw it away. I don't know why, but it gets me so fucking hyped when he says that. And Akuma's like, prepare to meet your maker. He's just charging up. I'm like, oh shit. Like that got more of a reaction out of me than a lot of like crazy shit like that, you know? Yeah, I understand this also during this time I was like really obsessed with Broly. So, like, I was really obsessed with Broly. Like, I love that dude. Still do. You know, the OG Broly, you know. Anyways.
Now do you understand, my dear?
I saw Oni. That scared the shit out of me a little bit. Because it's just like, who the fuck are you? And I learned what he is. I'm like, holy shit, Bass is tall. Not the fun. But anyway, yeah. Fighting games just have that special place in my heart. I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like some me's just can't hit that spot.
Get ready, fight!
Like, they take something simple, like, oh, my parents died, and they actually made me feel for them. Like, normally the whole fucking debacle about Chun-Li losing her father wouldn't make me, like, blink. But when I found out that he was more or less being brutally killed by the dolls, and he was just a regular man doing what he can to fight them, and he still died,
What happened to all that spirit you had a moment ago?
and Nash just tells Chun-Li what happened, I feel more for her there
I don't have
than most other times where people just lost their parents. And anyway, you don't really see Chun-Li's fucking, not Chun-Li's, but Juri's parents dying. The only time you do is in that one comic. Especially when I see her get shot in the fucking eye. You're a child, you get shot in the eye by a bullet. A bullet. Oh my god, man, you getting trampled by a fucking tiger like that. So yeah. There's also characters like Melina, who I felt deeply for. Like, I felt an immediate connection. I really sympathized with Melina.
Now do you understand, my dear?
Full disclosure, I do not find her ugly at all. In fact, my first time seeing Melina was at fucking Armageddon. I saw her fucking, the intro for Armageddon, which is a killer intro that doesn't... Honestly, there's no other intro that can top that when it comes to Mortal Kombat, personally. No, actually, no. Deception's up there as well. Deception is like we're neck and neck with Armageddon with me in terms of intros. Like opening intros. But again, here's what I think. I didn't know she had a fucking terrifying piranha maw off her mouth. And immediately I was just like, I'm in love.
Oh dear, what happened to all that spirit you
I'm
had
in love.
a minute ago?
A lot of people just say like, put the bag on her face. I'm like, no, keep it off.
I don't have time to think.
I want to see her face.
Ready, fight!
Bunch of fucking cowards, that's what they are. Oh, and speaking of Melina, I hate her design in MKX. She does not need lips. That's just a piss poor way to showcase her being human. She's not human. She's a Denian. She's half a Denian, half the Tarkatan. They're not humans. So giving her lips is just fucking weird. If anything, they just did that so they can do that fucking kiss scene that led to D'Vorah kissing her and killing her in the most ridiculous way ever. That fucking shit pisses me off, honestly. One other fucking things that MKX did. Kotal Khan, they try to make him seem like such a benevolent ruler, quote unquote. But he's just as bad, if not worse, than Shao Kahn. But, you know. Make Outworld great again, right, Shao Kahn? So yeah, really stupid.
Now do you understand, my dear?
Really fucking stupid.
Face your fate.
Get ready,
So yeah, fighting game characters and fighting game lore, they have an easier way of getting me to feel the... Oh. Like, I didn't expect to feel so much for Sarah Bryant and want to see more from her story, as well as Jackie's. And they're like, Virtua Fighter has less lore than Tekken and Street Fighter and all of them, and yet I'm more invested. Like, I'm not more invested, but I'm deeply invested. Like, you know.
Come here. The taste of victory.
Like, holy shit. So yeah, there's a lot of moments that just stand out to me in terms of, like, what fighting games did for me, and, well, those examples helped. One more thing before I end this video. I'd also love that we do the scenario campaign for Asuka. She's not worried about saving the world necessarily. It's more like, I want to help people get this done, but at the same time, I'm worried I would never be able to get home. When you consider that factor, as well as the fact that her father's in the hospital, and shit keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and you have Lily fucking with her, you have this stigma where everybody more or less fucking hates her because of Jin's terrorist actions. I felt for her. She fears being alone and shit like that because of all this fucking chaos. She's young and a teenager at this point in time. That's a lot of fucking pressure to deal with, especially with how important the Kazamas are. So it's like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, that's it for now. That's it for now.